What's up YouTube? Drew here. Today we're going to be talking about my top 10 must-dos during Disneyland Resort's 70th celebration, my top 5 at Disneyland, and my top 5 at California Adventure. So if you are planning a trip to Disneyland Resort through now or next summer when the celebration ends, well, you can make sure to hit all of the highlights that are here for a limited time. So I figured it is the perfect time to talk through my top 10 must-do Disneyland offerings. With that being said, let's get to it. Starting off at Disneyland, I have a hidden gem that, in my opinion, is the best new offering for the entire 70th celebration, at least so far. That is the Tapestry of Happiness projection show, which transforms the facade of It's a Small World every single evening. And this is a direct nod to Disney legend Mary Blair in her art style. And this just looks incredible. Huge shout out to Disney for the footage that you guys are seeing on screen right now. But I would definitely put Tapestry of Happiness at my number 1 for Disneyland, which is crazy because of what we'll be talking about next. But definitely make sure to check the Disneyland app or the Disneyland website to get those showtimes for Tapestry of Happiness, a love letter to the history of Disneyland and to an incredible Disney legend that has shaped the company that we know today. And like I just hinted, also at Disneyland we have the return of the Paint the Night parade, which still sounds crazy to say. So this one finally being back is surreal and feels like a sense of normalcy just for the world of theme parks in Disneyland. So obviously the Paint the Night parade is an absolute must do during the celebration, and the incredible teams at Disney Live Entertainment actually put some time and effort into upgrading some of the costuming here, the lighting to make this parade up to date for this celebration, and it will be running for the entire celebration, even through Halloween and this holiday season, which is fantastic to hear. Up next, we have Wondrous Journeys. This is the nighttime show that first debuted during Disney's 100th celebration as a company, when Disneyland was the hub of that celebration. And this show was just so popular that Disney has already brought it back multiple times now for the 70th celebration. And the best way I could describe this show is Disneyland's version of Happily Ever After. This is the one that everyone loves, though it is important to note that fireworks are only shown and offered on select nights. So some nights you're only going to be seeing the projections on the castle with the Baymax flying. But even without fireworks, I just think the music and the projections on Sleeping Beauty Castle is an incredible offering and definitely worth something to see during Disneyland 70th. This one is usually going to fall between the offerings when Paint the Night is shown. As of right now, Paint the Night is being offered twice per night, but that can change. So definitely keep an eye on Disneyland's app and the Disneyland website to know when Wondrous Journeys is offered so you can catch it. And also during the day, we have the Celebrate Happy Cavalcade. Now, I will say, in full transparency, there are some cool parts to this cavalcade, like Duffy and Shelley May making a very rare appearance here in the United States at Disneyland or Walt Disney World. They just don't appear here often at all. And they're in their new Disneyland 70th outfits, which I think is really cool. But I think that this is the one thing from the 70th that I'm very underwhelmed by. But the fact that it is an entertainment offering during the day for you guys going out to Disneyland, especially families, I think that this is something that I would still suggest seeing if you want something to do or if your schedule allows. And I also have to give a shout out to the new enhancements and additions to It's a Small World, which is pretty much perfect because, like I mentioned earlier, you have Tapestry of Happiness, and just the fact that It's a Small World is a Disneyland classic attraction. So we have Miguel and Dante from Coco, which have been added to the attraction. And also coming up starting July 17th, Disneyland's actual birthday, the actual anniversary day, the last verse is going to be added to the attraction, which, if you don't know, Disney revealed that the last verse was Richard M. Sherman's final contribution to Disney before he passed away. And they're honoring him by adding this verse to the attraction itself starting July 17th. So when I'm posting this, that's not there yet, but right now you do have Miguel and Dante with the last verse coming in just a little bit. And speaking of July 17th, I also have to give an honorable mention here to the Walt Disney Audio Animatronics figure. If you are watching this after July 17th, make sure to head over to the Main Street Opera House for Walt Disney A Magical Life with a 2-minute long speech from the first ever Walt Disney Audio Animatronics figure. Well, we don't have that yet, at least when I'm posting this video. That one is definitely going to move to the top of my list once July 17th hits. So those are all of the main offerings at Disneyland Park, specifically for the 70th. Now, let's move over to Disney California Adventure. All right, first up at DCA, my personal favorite one, which I'm very biased towards, is Toy Story Mania. I am a massive fan of Toy Story Mania and have worked my way up to kind of becoming a professional player at that game. And for the 70th, there are special targets that give extra bonus points throughout the attraction, as well as some props with all these stickers. So I think this is the perfect enhancement for the 70th because Toy Story Mania is a digital-based attraction, and in my opinion, there's really no excuse to not update this attraction more. Thankfully, Disney did that here. Also have to give a shout out to my friend Nathan, who recorded the first ever 1 million point game on Toy Story Mania because of those 7,000 point targets. So this is the perfect opportunity to get some absolutely ridiculous scores on Toy Story Mania, only at California Adventure. And my goal is going to be 700,000 points once I make it out to Disneyland eventually, because I feel like 700,000 with the 70th is just the perfect goal to reach for. So definitely go get some high scores on Toy Story Mania. Also at nighttime, one of the things that I feel is also kind of not being talked about so far is at the Carthay Circle Theater, we have Celebrate Happy, a little bit of magic, which every single night, as far as I know, around sunset, the Carthay Circle Theater facade, the structure itself, is transformed with some incredible projection mapping, all tied to Celebrate Happy, the theme song for the celebration written by the Jonas Brothers. Next up, we have World of Color Happiness, tying into the theme of Celebrate Happy. Once again, this all-new version of World of Color is hosted by Joy and all of the emotions from Inside Out and Inside Out 2, as well as musical moments from fan-favorite movies like The Muppets and a Goofy movie. And the unique thing about the show is that before the show even starts every single day, you can actually go onto the Disneyland app and vote for an emotion. And the winning emotion gets a special sequence in the show. So that is a pretty unique offering decided by the guests for the day. And also the fact that there is a Muppets pre-show, which I think is just a perfect use of the Muppets in their humor. So I am avoiding watching the show all the way through just for spoilers once I head out there eventually. But definitely make sure to check out World of Color Happiness every single night, running through the entirety of the 70th at Disney California Adventure. During the day at California Adventure, we have the return of Better Together, a Pixar Pals celebration. This parade originally debuted back during Pixar Fest a couple of years ago, but has been brought back to make that live entertainment roster even more stacked than it already is. This one has a couple dozen Pixar characters, and in my opinion, a very catchy song named Better Together. Who could have guessed? So during the day, make sure to check this one out. The parade route goes from Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout over by Goofy's Sky School, and vice versa. So there are plenty of spaces to watch it. And another hidden gem that just debuted, kind of came out of nowhere recently in the world of Disneyland news, Disney Junior Mickey Mouse Clubhouse Live. This is an all-new 19-minute long live show in Hollywoodland, and this is the perfect family offering, even more so than I was talking about earlier with that Cavalcade. This show has all of the Fab 5 characters, pretty much the classic characters that the kids are going to instantly recognize, and it's in Hollywoodland, like I mentioned, air conditioned, so this is the perfect escape to get out of the sun during the summer, allow the kids in your party and your family to see the characters that they love in an all-new way. So those are my top 5 offerings at California Adventure for a top 10 total, but I do want to also give a couple more honorable mentions back over at Disneyland. We have a Mickey Mouse talking popcorn bucket with an articulated head. He blinks, he moves his head, This one is expensive, there's no denying it. It's $52, but this is a first of its kind popcorn bucket. It's really not even a popcorn bucket. It's more of like a collectible figure, a keepsake for the celebration. So that one I think is awesome, even though it is expensive. And we also have a key to Disneyland. This is an all new interactive experience. Throughout the entire park, there are different interactive keyholes where you put this key into and you can go throughout the entire park. That one's $59.99, and once you do all 9, you get a mystery pin to take home with you. So that is a pretty cool interactive way to kind of walk through Disneyland if you're not interested in going on rides or seeing the shows, but you want something to do specifically for the celebration. And if you're willing to spend $60, well, I think the key to Disneyland is a pretty cool experience. So in my opinion, I think Disney did a phenomenal job with the 70th in terms of making a ton of things offered for the guests. You know, we've seen things before like Paint the Night or some of these parades and shows, and they are coming back. But in my opinion, I think this is the perfect thing to do for the 70th, because the 75th is going to be absolutely bonkers with some of these new attractions and lands being open by then, as well as the Olympics in 2028. So I think this is the perfect way to handle the 70th now, and then go all out 5 years from now for the 75th. I appreciate you all watching this video, and I'll see you all in the next one.